All right, guys, welcome back to another video. It's your man Jay. So I'm using the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 5 to record this video in 6x5 for the folding team. So if you don't have a Z Fold 5 or any of the Z Folds or any kind of folding device that can compensate from this view, I apologize up front. But this is about folding phones, and this is about my folding Pixel Fold. Now, before the Pixel Fold dropped, we were all excited saying, oh, they need to hurry up and do a fold. They need to hurry up and get this out. Is it a rumor? Is it fact? Well, it hit. And a lot of people, once this hit, they were disgusted with the price, to say the least. That was that's a nice way of saying it. People didn't like the price of this device. And even though Google offered some phenomenal trade-in deals that I think a lot of people got and a lot of people didn't, a lot of people missed out on some great initial trade-in deals. But, you know, it is what it is. So if you missed the trade-in deal, that means you kicked out $2,000 like most of us. But that's okay. I'm not worried about that. I think this is a phenomenal attempt. And I've done several videos on the Pixel Fold. I've showed you the cameras. 4K video on here is actually really good outdoors. And I did a video on it. And I can go to the video, library, camera. Here's the video that I did with this Fold. And it's actually really good. Audio is great. I posted this video up on the channel. I took photos. I did everything. The cameras are just, we all know cameras are good on here, but the video is what I was really concerned about, not being able to shoot in the same setting I'm doing right now. So if I switch to the Pixel Fold right now, you will see a difference in quality for indoor shooting, but outdoor shooting, it's a lot better. So I'm not going to beat that horse up. It is dead. This phone has great cameras, just not to my standards when it comes to outdoor shooting or indoor shooting in comparison to the iPhone and 14 Pro Max, 13 Pro Max, or just any of the iPhones and then any of the Samsungs currently in the 23 lineup. This phone just doesn't measure up as far as details and quality for video, but it does phenomenal when it comes to photos. Obviously, that's not a thing, but that's not what this video is about. This video is just about my 2 months. Now I'm over 2 months with this, using this, and I've been using it on visible wireless the entire time. And I just think it's just a great phone. It's hard to put down, but now that I've been using it for 2 months, there are some things that I'm starting to notice because I've mixed in the Z Fold 5, the Z Flip 5. And I still use this beautiful device right here that I normally will be recording with, my S23 Ultra. Absolutely love that phone, along with a number of other devices that I could throw out here to you. I'm not trying to flex. I'm just telling you, I rotate between phones a lot because I want to experience all these phones that I spent all this money on. So I got to be able to use them. So nonetheless, I'm excited to report back that while this phone may have an expensive price tag and it's lacking in a few areas, I've already pointed them out multiple times. I'm here to tell you that this phone is still great, man. If you're looking for a folding device, this form factor is going to be a hit with you. Another thing I want to talk about, I don't know if I talked about it in another video, but we're going to get into it right now. After I talk about the form factor real quick, briefly again, this form factor is really, really sweet, folks. It will make you not want to use other folding devices that are taller. Once you lock in on this and you start using it for a minute, you're gonna get used to it and you're gonna like it. It's just gonna be a beautiful experience. And then when you open it up to this beautiful 7.6-inch display, it's good. It's really solid. The only time you'll see someone complaining about certain things on this device is when they're holding it next to another device that they feel is superior. And that's just how it is. When we start to compare things, when we get them next to the devices that we want the device to actually kind of be like, if you will. So as you can see here, I'm using mine bare bones. This is where I like to use my devices. Almost all my devices are naked like this around the house. And even when I go outside, sometimes I just leave them like this, depending on what I'm wearing. Making sure it's not going to slip out of my pocket. I'm good. So I really like the fingerprint reader on the side of this thing. It is absolutely great. Phenomenal. Hardware, I still love it. Again, it's a little bit on the heavier side now that I'm noticing carrying it next to other devices. It's a little bit heavier. Like, it feels heavier than my Z Fold 5. Like, I don't know what it is. It just feels heavier all of a sudden. So, yeah, I don't know. It's still solid. It just feels beefier. And I think it might just be the design of it, the rounded corners, but it is heavier, but it just feels beefier for some reason. And it is wider. But as far as weight goes, it definitely feels heavier. Even if it's not heavier on paper, it still feels heavier than my Z Fold 5. So, yeah, I'm loving this thing, man. It's a good thing. Now, I want to touch on this before I forget, because, you know, I'll shuffle and forget something. The battery life. Remember when I talked about the battery life not being good, and then I had to move to Android 14? I think I talked about this on video already. I'm not sure if I did or not, but let's hit it up again, because my battery life is phenomenal, folks. I went back to Android 13. So initially, when I got this phone, it was on Android 13. Within a couple of days, or maybe within the first week, I went to Android 14, and it drastically improved. I mean, it made my battery life so much better. And I could go a day and a half, 2 days possibly. And I was excited about that. Well, one day I was like, yeah, I'm just going to go back to Android 13. And I did. And to my surprise, the battery life has been great on Android 13 this time around. It's been phenomenal. So I don't know what happened. You know, it factory reset. It went back to Android 13, and I set it all up again. And it's been great, man. I don't know what it is. Also, I didn't put all the same apps. I left some of my banking apps off because I was like, I'm just going to sign in, on the web or something like that if I need to. But I left all of my banking apps off, I think, and just put on my social media, my tracking apps like UPS, FedEx, and things. This is the essentials that I really need to get to on my device. Because I don't need to have my banking applications on my device. I could just sit in front of my computer or, jump on a laptop, something different. But the device is got great battery now, literally going 2 days pretty much or more. I don't know what happened, but it definitely has great battery life. It's good. Yeah, it's pretty solid now. So I'm not too much worried about that. You know what I'm saying? I don't turn on power saving mode or anything. I just roll with it, man. It's been pretty good. And it could be that it got some security patch updates and they fixed a few things in the background. I don't know. But I am on the August security patch. And at the beginning of this video, as you can see, at the recording video, you can see it's September 6th, I'm sorry. And so I am past my official full 2 months into the next, week of the second month or whatever, third month. And I'm rolling with it, man. It's actually pretty solid. So I don't have too much to report at this point. It's just that I'm not having any battery woes anymore. You know what I'm saying? I really wish the camera game would improve with some software updates, because Google is the king of AI with photos and stuff like that. You hit this app and, the camera, when comparing it to other camera apps, as far as what it can do, is still limited. Like if I switch to 4K 60, I lose a lot of things, and it is what it is. I mean, you got to do 10-bit over here, you got to do speech enhancement over here. You lose, to me, the essentials. 4K 60 frames per second, I know, and 120 frames per second, I know. It's, you should be using that for certain things, but I like to use it for the smooth motions of the videos. But I would love to use it still, with my enhanced audio and things like that. So you can't do that. It's just what it is. So, yeah, I'm still impressed with the camera. One thing I don't like in comparison to this, so if I use a cover display, when I got the camera turned on and I used the cover display, and I turn it on, it's not like Samsung's. This screen just goes off, and it's all about this one now. That's the weird. There's Z Fold 5. That's the weird part. It's all about just this one side, and I don't like that. I don't like that at all. There's no way to really, I'm sure if it's a way to get it to switch back, manually like that. Like, I would like for this side to stay on, basically, just like the Samsung products. It's just weird that it shuts off like that. And if there's something in the setting, go ahead and let me know, and I'll be sure to change it. because I'm not an expert. I don't claim to be an expert. I don't claim to be a professional photographer. I know all about this stuff. Nah, I'm just some dude posting online. Just happens to love tech. And I'm sharing my point of view. So with that being said, the Pixel Fold, man, my gosh, this thing is incredible, man. I absolutely still love it. And let me talk about something that I haven't really talked about on this one, I guess. I think it's like phone calls, text messages, RCS, all these different things. RCS is the truth, folks. It is the truth. It is one of the best things that happened to Android. And I like that I can still communicate with, because I know a lot of people on Android, and you can tell when they're on RCS. It says RCS, Yeah, I like it. And I think being able to share full resolution videos and things like that, it's good. It would be nice if I could communicate with my people with my iPhones, because there are people that have iPhones that send me things and it looks horrible. They're sending it from an iPhone. It just doesn't look good. Or sometimes if I send them something, it just doesn't look good. And that's something that I would really hope that would change in the future. But, we have no control over that. But RCS is very nice. I genuinely like the way this phone being used on visible wireless. Man, I've not had any problems. After being with T-Mobile for almost 27 years, I said, I'm done. I officially switched. I shut everything off. I don't have any more T-Mobile lines. I thought about opening a prepaid line just to test certain phones. It's like $10 a month. So I thought about doing it, and I probably still will do that. But as of right now, I have a visible line, and that's it. That's all I have is one visible line, believe it or not. And coming from 4 lines to myself, you know what I mean? But it doesn't do any good to have all these great phones if I keep getting bad signals and the phone calls keep dropping. It's just not a good experience. So that's something that I didn't appreciate with T-Mobile after all these years. It just never got better as far as phone calls and when I traveled and stuff like that. And now when I travel, any phone I use and put my SIM card in there for visible wireless, it's flawless. So it basically runs off Verizon's network, but I'm so loving using this phone on visible, and all my phones I use them with the same SIM card. But things like that, the data speeds on visible have gotten better. But as long as it works and I can stream music and videos on the go, I'm okay with it, because I'm not getting. Shout out to the Hawks TV. She got like 1 gig down, and I'm definitely not getting that. Most I've gotten is like 100 and something, but it's all good as long as I can stream. And I can get my music content streamed, I can get my video streamed with no problems, I'm okay with it. So using this phone on visible wireless has been great, man. Flawless. No issues whatsoever. So I'm happy about that. So I've already talked about some of the improvements I would want them to do in the other videos, that I've done on the Pixel Fold. I've done several videos on the Pixel Fold, and I've had like a wish list, and I've done all these things and reported back to you with it. But I really feel like Google is going to do better. Now, the upcoming Pixel event is about to happen, and we are going to see a number of people get excited about the upcoming Pixel devices. You got to get hyped about them. I'm really hoping that Google brings the thunder with the Pixel 8. So mark that date, October 4th or October 8th or something like that. I think it's the 8th, yeah. Mark it down and get ready for the Pixels to drop out. This is my Pixel 7a, my Pixel 7, and my Pixel 6a. And I have all the other Pixels in the rack over there. But really loving what Google is doing with the Pixel Fold. I want them to capitalize on this and grow like Samsung did with the iterations of they're on the 5th iteration. I want Google to keep going. I want Google to address the price. I want them to not increase the price if they're going to bring out another version. They got to mimic the way this game is done with folding phones, because if they go up in price, they're going to lose a lot of people. For real. They started off really high in price. So the best thing that can happen is they can go down in price and win a lot of people over and give them a better product too. It's your man Jay. Hope you guys enjoyed. See you in the next one. Take care. Team Pixel up in here. Check in down below.